How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Serenial Podcast, episode 15. I am Megaharv, as usual. And as always, we have Enigma. I always butcher your name. Enigma. How are you doing? How you doing, Enigma?
Oh, man. I'm all right, man. Hanging in there. Still working on stuff. How about you guys?
It's the main thing. And today, we also have... I actually looked in the right way. We have Fade Dragon Tier joining us. How you doing, Fade?
Hey, what's up, guys? Glad to be back.
And back again as well is Matt as a Cop. How you doing, Matt as a Cop?
I'm good, guys. How are you guys doing?
Oh, just peachy.
Not dead yet.
That's as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I think I still have a pulse. Like, I mean, if I were to rate how living I am, I would say I'm probably moderately alive.
6 out of 10.
I'm not 6 feet under yet, so I'm doing all right.
Yeah, no, things are good, man. Relaxing, working on stuff, music. I make music now.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah. You were saying a little bit before the podcast. You got some stuff going.
Yeah, so I guess this can be like the official announcement. Can I officially announce that we have a record label now, guys? So we do have Serenial Records. Essentially, it's right now the only artists that we have are myself, which is not a musical artist. I have like one joke song, but it's mostly for our buddy Six Adams, who was a guest on the podcast like a couple episodes ago. So we're gonna push forward with him and like try to push into other platforms. So we're on Spotify and iTunes now, and a lot of the stuff, like the way that it's set up, it's all going to be automated, so I don't got to do like 90% of the work. So I'm gonna it's gonna show up on all kinds of platforms, and I'm thinking about like looking into other artists. There's a couple other people that I approached. They weren't super interested yet, but I think right now, pretty good little vibe. So yeah, music, Serenial music, Serenial Records. It's a thing.
Good stuff.
Sorry to derail the whole thing.
Yeah.
But,
No, you good. We got time to fill.
like, I mean, we're here to talk about E3 though, and like I got some angry stuff. Like I want to jump right into this because I'm fuming. I'm chomping at the bit about E3.
All right. Well.
Oh man, really? Let's go.
Let's get talking about E3 then. So, well, I mean, Fade,
Okay.
you have a lot to say.
So
let her rip.
So I have the floor. Okay, so I'm going to address this directly to Bandai Namco, and I'm going to swear. So I'm sorry, YouTube censors, but like you can demonetize us. We don't make money for this podcast anyway.
Uh-oh.
Bandai Namco, you motherfuckers. What the fuck? What the fuck? Like, where is Digimon Survive? I've been waiting 2 years for this. This is like, it's like the ultimate Digimon game. There's so many people. When the fucking live stream was going on, I'm in the chat. Like, I got the check mark, right? So, like, I'm in the chat, and, like, when I say shit, like, you know, people tend to pay attention. I'm, like, talking about, like, I hope they talk about Digimon Survive. And there's, like, half the chat is, like, Digimon Survive. Like, they're hype. And, like, there's a lot of people. Like, they got, the new property that, like, we were talking about it a bit before with Matt. What is it, Elden Ring? Like, so there's a lot of people excited for that. A lot of people excited for, like, a lot of properties that you guys are doing. Like, they wanted, like, more Dragon Ball, more, like, everything, right? But, like, Digimon Survive is my laser focused here. Because that game is something that, like, I don't know commercially if Digimon is, like, the most viable thing that you guys have, but artistically, that has the potential to be the best Digimon game in the entire Digimon franchise. And I've played every Digimon game in the entire Digimon franchise. You know, I really liked the Cyber Sleuth, like the whole Digimon hacking thing. Like, I played all the old Digimon worlds. I had a Tamagotchi when I was a kid. I didn't watch all the anime. I watched, like, a lot of the anime. But, like, I got old and the anime got stupid. But, yeah, no, Digimon Survive. Please, like, just say something. Let us know our release date. That's all we need right now is, like, just let us know that it's not canceled. If you cancel Digimon Survive, I'm going to cry. And, like, I'm not the only person. I saw some dude, when I looked up Digimon Survive and, like, looked at the recent videos from, like, the last couple days, there was one dude, he was like, there will be action. And, like, I didn't go to look at it. I got to, like, look his channel up again today to see what his action is. Because he's like, if you don't say something about Digimon Survive by Friday, there will be I don't know what he's going to do. Like, this dude might be like some kind of like terrorist or something, or like maybe he'll just be like a YouTube video where he's like, like he just whines more on YouTube is probably what's going to happen. But like, I don't know, maybe he'll do something like really drastic. Like maybe he will burn his Agumon plushie or something that he had. I don't know. But Bandai Namco, please. I'm sorry I sweared at you. I'm sorry. I'm just emotional about this. Like, you guys are great, but Digimon Survive. Like, I really just make it good, get it out there. Like, don't rush it. Like, you know what I mean? If it's still in development, take your time to do what you need to do with it. Just like keep us posted, man. Like,
So,
we're ready for it.
So Fade, like this is like I know nothing about Digimon, so like what is it about Digimon Survive that's like that stands out even above and beyond the other Digimon games up to this point?
So what for me, and like this may not be true of the entire game, but like from what I've seen from the previews that they're showing, it looks like it's a turn-based strategy. So it's like a Final Fantasy Tactics with the Digimon property. So the Digimon property is like this like really rich character-driven thing where they have like this stable of all kinds of like crazy characters of all different varieties, right? Like there's an Elvis impersonator character that's like a Digimon, and also like a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex that shoots laser beams, but also like a cute little plushy like I don't even know what it is, like a turnip it looks like, or like a giant like it's just everything. Like any Digimon would kick the crap out of any Pokemon because they're just like they just keep evolving into like more and more powerful things every time, and like they can evolve in different ways depending on their emotion or what the lore is of that particular. So it's just this like huge stable of like all kinds of crazy things that you can do with that property in that very strategic. Like some Digimon will move faster, some of them can fly, so they can fly over terrain. You know, like different elements and things like that, and like there's just all these systems that could work with that. Now it's possible they may butcher it too. It might be like this very simplistic, non-fun, you know what I mean? But I still like I'm optimistic about it. I'm very like I hope it's going to be a good game, and I hope it gets released. Like they slowed down development because of COVID. They're just like you know, we're delaying the game because we can't develop as quickly, which is fine. Take however long you need. But we just haven't heard anything since. Like the release date is 2021. It was supposed to be summer 2021, so like it should be the next couple months. And like if it's not in the next couple months, then it got to be by Christmas. And if it's not by Christmas, then it's probably never coming out, right? Like they just gotta just let us know, man. Like I'm only angry because I care.
Yeah, like they could at least be like, I haven't forgotten about it this game yet, guys. Here's like 2 minutes, just some footage we slapped together. Leave us alone.
Anything.
Yeah.
Maybe to trick another trailer or something, you know?
Like, do they not even have that? Like,
and while we're angry at things, Final Fantasy Dark Souls, what the fuck? Square Enix? I'm going to address you directly now. Actually, I don't know. This one, I thought about it. I'm like, I don't really feel like Final Fantasy Dark Souls kind of... You know what I'm talking about, right? I forget the name of it.
Origin. Sorry.
Yeah.
So for me, Final Fantasy and Dark, like I could maybe a Dark Souls with like deep Final Fantasy systems, but like the physics seems more Final Fantasy than Dark Souls, personally.
I'm gonna have to play.
But I feel like this is. I was very harsh on it at first because I'm like, this looks dumb, right? And I'm like, I don't think I like that direction for it. But then I thought back to like, kind of reminiscent of like a Vagrant Story kind of side thing where they're trying something new. You know, maybe not everything's going to work out, but like maybe they'll, you know, like that kind of project, like where they're learning, I guess. Yeah. But I don't know. I was kind of upset with that as opposed to more Final Fantasy 16, maybe some footage of the pixelated remakes of the old games.
Yeah.
Like I was
as if they announced that and then didn't show any footage.
Yeah.
Like what's going to be the release schedule for that? For those?
And like I'm not even interested unless it's like I mean if it's gonna look like the Final Fantasy VI PC port, I'm not interested.
No, not really.
Like I want my Final Fantasy VI to look good. Like it doesn't gotta look like the Super Nintendo version, but like if you're gonna do it, like give it the the treatment that it deserves.
You could make everything look like Octopath Traveler at this point. I'd be like, cool.
I would take Final Fantasy VI and Octopath Traveler's engine, yes. Like, as long as you faithfully recreate the assets, I'm completely fine with that. Even add stuff to it. Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to, like, add extra Lone Wolf stuff, or, like, you know, finally figure out what that Gilgamesh, or what was his name? The, Go-Go, but, like, he's impersonating Siegfried. Like, finish up the Siegfried side quest.
Yeah.
they could do like put in the Game Boy Advance extra content and like all that stuff, like all the content that you had from other things. But yeah, like the budget for that would have to be more than what I'm assume that they're willing to put into that kind of remake.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see.
And like how much would a somewhat upscaled remake of an old Final Fantasy game like actually sell? Like, yeah, it'd be great to have, Final Fantasy 1 through 6 available on modern consoles, but like are they going to sell like 1 million each? Like, how much money are they even?
People would buy it.
It's Final Fantasy. I don't know. A lot of people are nostalgic. A lot of people are nostalgic for those old games. So if they did, like those old games and like did them justice, I think people would go gangbusters.
Oh, I would love for them to also and be like, hey, here's some extra stuff to do in each given game, and like rather than just like a direct port, but with like a little shinier graphics. It's like I can already play a direct port with shinier graphics on like 9 other consoles.
Yeah, I think the Octopath thing would be like Final Fantasy VI needs that upscale though. Like it needs that. Like they got that mobile port, like that PC mobile thing. Like it made me angry. Like I was like, I just don't care. Like, can I mod this to make it good? Like
no, you can't.
Like now that it's on PC, like maybe honestly, it's probably easier to ROM hack a Super Nintendo version. But like, I don't know. Yeah, Final Fantasy. But 16, like, I don't think there was anything I don't know if there was anything at E3 for 16. I didn't notice. But it's a thing. Like, it exists. There is a trailer out there.
Well, I'm going to keep half an eye on it for sure. Like, until I get a PS5, I'm kind of like whatever on it anyway. It probably won't be out until I get one.
So, did anybody have anything on Square? I wanted to ask Matt specifically about Elden Ring, because we were talking about it a bit before the podcast.
Okay, so Elden Ring, the rundown of it is basically the guy who is behind Dark Souls and the guy who basically wrote all of Game of Thrones are coming together to make a game. And it is very, like, I watched the trailer for it. I think it was one of the only things at E3 I actually did watch. It is very Games of Thrones. Like,
hold on. George R.R. Martin wrote Elden Ring instead of the last fucking game. What the fuck, George R.R. Martin? So now I'm going to address this to George R.R. Martin directly. What the fuck, George R.R. Martin? No, just fine. But okay, yeah.
Should have wrote the last season of Game of Thrones.
That sounds absolutely fucking horrible, though. You know what that sounds like, right, Matt? Like the most sadistic. Like, if you're sadistic and you like getting the shit kicked out of you, and like emotional, like anguish, like this is the game for you. Is what like that. Those two, like Dark Souls and Game of Thrones. Like the writer of Game of Thrones, where like everybody they kill all your favorite characters. Like it's like, and then Dark Souls, which kills you.
Right.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect fitting because Dark Souls is just like depression in a game, and Game of Thrones is just very brutal, so it kind of works. But
yeah, I think the common thread there is like sadisticness, like sadism, like.
Yeah, it's very much just like beat down central. But I think the thing that like the community, from what I've seen, is really happy about is they're implementing horses. Now I don't know how that's gonna work, but apparently you can ride a horse from what I've seen, which you couldn't do in any other Souls game. And I think that's gonna be probably the new because it's like with Bloodborne, and they took away like you couldn't. Shields were just kind of pointless. You used guns instead to like parry enemies, and with like Sekiro, it was a lot different as well. And they just implement different features to try and like almost change things up, just from like here's another Dark Souls basically. So I'm excited to see what it's going to be like. It's definitely like I saw the trailer. There's a few scenes in it where I was a bit like, oh, okay, I'm not. But for the most part, I was really like. Pretty sold on it. I'm not gonna lie. I just
have to check it out. Like I feel like I do need the crap kicked out of me occasionally. So like maybe if the mood strikes me, like George R.R. Martin and the Dark Souls guy got me covered. Like whatever.
I'm sure.
It's definitely like worth like. I mean, Dark Souls is like some of my favorite games, and like I think it's definitely worth like checking out and seeing like.
I think it's going to be a challenging game, and that's sort of something that I want. Something that's going to challenge me. And like frustrate me a little bit.
It will.
Like,
Yeah.
I lack that. A lot of the games that I play feel like I'm playing Kingdom Hearts 3. It's so handholdy. Like there's no challenge
Yeah.
to Kingdom Hearts 3.
What difficulty are you playing that on?
Proud, I think.
Yeah, it's
there may
still
be
easy.
one higher. Yeah.
It's one of the easiest ones in the series, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But like we'll see. Like I don't know. I haven't beat it yet. So like maybe like I remember Kingdom Hearts 1 was easy right up until the end, and then I got really frustrated near the end of the game.
Not what happens. Spoiler alert.
Okay. I'm also disappointed in the lack of Final Fantasy characters, but
yes.
I don't want to get on to Kingdom Hearts. We're talking about E3.
That's fine.
So okay, and I just wanted to comment on the horses. Like it's cool that they're implementing horses in that setting.
Yeah.
But horses are like the lamest form of transportation. Like it's so unoriginal. Like why can't we just like instead of horses, skip horses, go to dragons, or like whatever the setting allows. Like stone lizard. I don't know. Like.
I mean, I think with like the horses and stuff, I think the only reason it really breaks away is because in every Souls game, like besides like fast traveling between like certain points and like bonfires or whatever, everything is on foot. Like you have to walk everywhere. So for them to just kind of break away from that a little bit, from what I've seen, I think it's going to be interesting for the show. But I don't know. Part of me is kind of worried that it might just be a bit crap. So I don't know.
Right. Well, like I mean, transport is nice. Like I do think you should be able to mount things. I just like in I got like playing MMOs, like you can get mounts and they're all horses. And it's like I could have a black horse or a white horse, or like you put armor in your horse. Like it's an armored horse.
I agree.
There's no variety.
Like, where's my unicorn?
It's a bit.
Jeez.
Yeah, like put a horn on it. You could have a unicorn. Like they're not even that original with it most times. Like
it is like, I must admit, it is like the whole like riding a horse everywhere is a bit like overdone, and to break away from that would be nice. But I mean, from judging from the shots, the scenes like where the characters riding the horse towards enemies, and it does feel like very Games of Thrones. Like you could probably see shots in the actual TV show and stuff.
Yeah, if it's set in like a realistic setting, then I see that. But
somewhat.
like if you're fighting giant fucking bone dragons, you should be able to ride giant fucking bone dragon.
That's another thing. From what I don't know how like true this is, but judge it like compared to other Souls games, like they don't really seem to have like, they have like big enemies, but not like giant enemies compared to like the other games. But I don't know. That's just from what I'd seen on the trailer. So they might still have like huge enemies and stuff, but that was another thing. And the only other thing is, I think this is like the first time where I've seen a Souls game and been like, actually, magic looks pretty cool. Because normally I completely ignore all of that sort of stuff. So
okay, I played a little bit of Dark Souls 3, and I streamed it and like died, and I think I got frustrated. I think I played like 3 hours, and I was like, I'm good. I'm gonna go stream some other game.
Yeah.
But
Dark Souls 3 and well, any of them really, it's one of them games where you like. You kind of have to be prepared just to get your head like kicked in a lot.
For sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I learned that pretty quickly. Like, just pucker up the butthole. Like the whole time, just keep it tense.
And then if you're like streaming on top of it, it's like, and you're dying a bunch on stream, it's like,
yeah.
oh my god. Like,
well, I mean, I was
playing
it up too. Like,
sure.
yeah, I was doing a bit. Like, I was doing Fade Rage. Like,
yeah,
that was the name of the episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been replaying Dark Souls 3 in hype of this, and I'm going to get back onto Bloodborne, but it's definitely going to be an interesting change of pace for the show. I think that's probably the only thing from E3 besides Bayonetta that I'm really looking forward to. So
yeah, I think you sold me on it though. Like, I think I'm actually interested in it now because of your interest. Like, originally I thought it was like some mobile game. I didn't even check out the trailer.
No, it's.
I'm like, I was wrong, but it's actually going to kick my ass, and I'm like, oh, that no game's going to kick my ass. Yeah. Fuck you, game. I'm addressing the game directly now.
Yeah, it's worth checking out. Like, I think because the thing is with like the Souls community is like what you're going through is like the beginning point of like getting your head kicked in a lot, but once you kind of get past that, you kind of understand why it has such a strong fan base, and that's kind of like where the hype is from it. But yeah,
it's the challenge, like playing through, and you can. Like, the gameplay is so tight that, like, you got to sort of watch your stats and stuff like that, too, right? Like, I know a lot of the Dark Souls runs are based on, like, custom classes and stuff like that, and sort of, like, dealing with the micromanaging of your stats and sort of, like, the equipment you use and your play style.
Yeah, there's
it's a very deep gameplay. Like it's, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. The best games are the hardest to get into.
Yeah, I think one of the things that kind of drew me into it was like, because one of the first games I really got into, like when I got my own console, was like Skyrim, and that's just very like hack and slashy. So when like I moved over to Dark Souls, it's like the same with like God of War 1 through 3, and then I played 4, and 4 makes you think a lot more about what you're actually doing versus just the random like hack and slash. And I like that in a game where it's like actually you have to think about what you're doing rather than just spamming buttons.
Button mash through, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the big thing for me with like the Souls games. But yeah, I'd say it's definitely worth checking out.
Okay, and yeah, we'll come back to Bayonet. I got questions about that too, but I want to space them out a little.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything that was like the highlight of the show for you guys? However, I feel like every time I come on here, I steal the show from you.
Yeah, it's fine. But like for me with E3, this is probably gonna be like a bit of a surprise. Like just be like, why is he looking forward to this? But like in the Nintendo Direct, they announced that they're doing a new Mario Party game, and it's not really a new Mario Party game. It's called Mario Party Superstars. It has 5 boards from the N64 games. And, like, I'm crazy about Mario Party 2. That's, like, one of my all-time favorite games ever. And it has, like, it's going to have at least one Mario Party 2 board on it. And, like, I think they said, like, somewhere between 12 to 18 mini-games from it. There's going to have other mini-games throughout the series, too. But, like, being able to play that, like, this is unusual for, like, games these days where you can actually do, like, couch co-op. You can do, like, online play. And you can also do, like, some other thing I'm forgetting about.
Online play is the big thing.
Yes.
It's gonna have both, really.
Like I really
in this day and age, like it's a necessity. I don't know how. Like I mean, things are starting to come back in Canada here. How are you guys doing across the ocean there, Matt? Just like COVID check-in, like pandemic check-in.
So I was able to return to my job. I can actually talk about it as well, briefly. For like 1 week of work. We have a thing with the BBC called BBC Big Weekend, where it's like a bunch of bands will come out and they'll perform. But the way they did it this year was they had like really big artists in different places. So we were in a place called like by the seaside called Whitby, and we did Coldplay. Oh. So things are like slowly getting back to normal, but also the problem is everyone's got so comfortable so fast that Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, is now reconsidering, because we had a set date for when lockdown was going to be completely lifted, and now they're reconsidering it and like moving it. They might be moving it further back. So that's kind of where we're at with it. It's kind of like a bit back and forth.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I can get that sort of apprehension too, because he's in a. I mean, I don't know, politics or whatever. Whoever's running the country, right? Like, it doesn't matter if it's Boris Johnson or whoever, if you like him or hate him. They're responsible for so many people's lives, and they got to make those decisions, right? Like, it's going to be a hard spot for whoever, like, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
I did want to. So, like, the Corona thing is cool. Like, that's cool. Let's get back to that BBC thing. That sounded awesome. So you said you were doing Coldplay. What were you doing?
So. My job wasn't really that interesting. I was basically pulling 10 miles worth of heavy cable across a field, and I got really sunburned.
Making shit work. That's
because we get divvied up into departments. So you have like guys who'll do the lights, sound, the stage, and then like the actual band equipment.
You were helping with the sound for Coldplay.
No, I was doing the power for all of it. That's why I was pulling all this cable. Normally, I get put on like lights because that's what I kind of studied to do. But it was definitely an interesting experience because we had to do like in the space of a week, we had to do like 3 COVID tests. We had to get like temperature checked every day. We had to wear masks, so it was like very different. And I don't know if you guys know about it, but one of the big like metal UK festivals called Download Festival.
I haven't heard of it, no, but it sounds awesome.
It's like one of the big ones, and they're doing a thing called Download Pilot, which is basically where like instead of having like so many thousand, they've only got like 10,000 people, and
trying to like scale it back. That kind of it sucks for the art. Well, it sucks for everybody, I guess. Because like that's the whole thing is like these big fucking, you know, for a band, the more people, the better, right? Like that's what you you want the biggest stadium possible, or the biggest audience possible for those kinds of things. So it sucks, but like the festival's called Downloads. You would have thought they'd be really into the whole, okay, yeah, we're gonna do it online, like whatever. But
there was a lot of gigs doing that, but they're trying to like break away from that now, and they're trying to do like live performances. But the main way they're getting around it is like, I don't even know. Like they're trying to only have a certain amount of people who can come in, and you've all got to take like multiple tests and prove that you're like negative, and it's gonna take a while for like the music industry to really revive. But it's kind of like slowly getting there bit by bit. But it is definitely a really weird experience. So yeah,
it's tough. Like I mean, even the studio here, like so the film industry is still going, but it's like the same thing. Like it's all these very stringent checks. Like they gotta, you know, essentially things are getting stretched out, and the budgets are, you know, not going as far because a lot of the time is being spent with like precautions and being safe, right? But safety is the important thing with, especially film sets. For me, anyway, like that's number one for anywhere that I'm at, any job that I'm on is safety. So with those, like, you know what I mean? There's ways that you can do things, but yeah, it all depends on like what are they saying is safe this week, right? Like it's, you know, it's hard when, you know, the information changes so rapidly. And I understand that, you know, we're still learning, and that's what's up.
Oh,
and we're always going to be still learning, and we got to adapt to that, and that's how we'll go forward as a society and not get wiped the fuck out.
The way I see with COVID now, it's like, I think it's always going to be there. It's just about basically learning to live with it almost. Like any disease that just becomes really apparent, I think it is just like, we need to almost stop hiding from it, but kind of learn to adapt with it. So I think that's the only way we're really going to get through this.
More about assimilation at this point. It's not like it's going to just go away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think it's just about.
Not to get like religious on y'all, but I'll introduce you to my religion, right? You guys are going to join the Church of the Rock Monkeys.
Oh, definitely, I'm there.
Did I indoctrinate you yet? Can I indoctrinate the stream into the Church of the Rock Monkeys? Okay, so the core of the issue here is actually that we are a bunch of like essentially like primates that exist on a rock that spins around like this huge ball of fucking fire, and like I feel like I'm the only monkey that's like, dude. Like we're on a rock that spins around a ball of fire. Like nobody else is alarmed by this, that like we have no control over our path in like this trajectory. Like that ball of fire could blow up tomorrow. We don't fucking know. Like they say like, oh, we're scientists, but like scientists thought, you know, like so many years ago, like, you know, scientists are sometimes wrong.
Easily.
And we don't, you know, we don't understand it. So anyway, the Church of the Rock Monkeys basically says that we got to get off the rock. You know what I mean? We got to like get out into space and like find ways to like sustain. And I think the big problem is like energy. We don't like, you can't create energy, right? Like energy is like this thing that like sort of you can only manipulate it. So we get our energy from the sun. You know what I mean? Sun comes down, hits plants, plants grow, animals eat it. You know, like food cycle, whatever. So like for us to like leave Earth, we either have to have batteries that are so fucking efficient that they could survive, you know, to make it to another hospitable environment, or indefinitely. And that's sort of the thing. Like, I mean, we got biodomes where we can have like this dome where like things live with sunlight, right?
Was that Chevy Chase biodome?
No, Pauly Shore, man.
Pauly Shore, thank you.
Yeah. 90s, good times. But oh my God. So yeah, that's my religion. If you guys want to join the Church of the Rock Monkeys, we don't have a website yet, but you can just shoot me an email or something and I'll send you a brochure.
Yeah, I'm willing to join, yeah. Why not? Fuck it.
I mean, if we get enough followers, I think we can register to be a real religion regardless of it being stupid.
How many do you need?
I don't know. I'll look it up. To be like, I'm now like a, you know, an ordained pastor too. I'll put that on the resume, just like the record label executive thing. Yeah.
Like rankings in this religion.
Oh, dude, we can come up with our own stupid systems. Like we could have like Grand Chicken Wrangler.
Because if this is, I'd like to be one of them guys who are in robes. Like, no,
there's definitely going to be robes.
I just
really
want to be like
ones too.
Yeah, I want to be one of them guys where like you can look at him. He's like, yeah, he's not the bottom, but he's not the top here. He's like
Oh, like you want like special. So what with ours, I think we'll indicate that with like shoulder pads, like it's like video game bosses. Where like you'll just have like more spiky shoulder pads. So like like you got the low level guys, and then you come in. It's like, oh, that's like he looks like the guys, but he got spikes.
Yeah.
So he's like a better one. Yeah.
I want to be like not a boss, but like a mini boss almost.
Yeah. Well, obviously the boss has to be like I'm the whole guy that's running the whole Ponzi scheme that like we're charading as a religion. So
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Like, but me and like a giant fighting robot or something. Like I make a spaceship. Like we're making a spaceship, and it's like it turns into a Gundam or something.
Oh my god!
I'll think about it. I'll write that down and like start doing the budget.
We'll have weekly meetings every Friday.
Yeah, around this time. Sorry,
we got off E3. Enigma, did you have anything that was like the highlight of the show for you?
Oh man, freaking! I seem like the one person that's not really interested in Elden Ring, which is like blasphemy apparently. But
I wasn't before, but now I'm in. He converted me to that church.
I've just never been interested in the Dark Souls series. So once my friend told me that game is the same as basically Dark Souls, like same company, I was just like, oh no, our pass. The thing that interested me the most, honestly, was Metroid Dread. I mean, that stole the show. Like that was the one redeeming. Maybe something else. I forgot what the other game was, but
that's Metroid Dread. It's like a 3D, 2D Metroid, right? Like 3D graphics on a 2D. Okay.
They're finally making a sequel to Metroid Fusion. Metroid Fusion is basically the last new 2D Metroid game because Zero Mission was a remake.
Game Boy Advance, right?
Yeah.
Fusion.
01 or 02. I forgot the year, but it was 01 or 02. So it's been almost 20 years now since they released a sequel to. Yeah, Zero Mission was for the Game Boy Advance.
That was the one that I played too.
Samus Returns was for the 3DS, but that was a remake of part 2 of.
So what about this one? Is it just graphics that it's like that's what's hype, or is it like what gameplay wise is like that you spotted out that you're like I'm hyped about this specific thing, or is it just like new Metroid? Fuck yeah, it's like Fusion was awesome. Fusion 2 is going to be.
In general, I've just always liked Metroid games, and I feel like I never liked really Metroid Prime. After Metroid Fusion and Zero Mission, they went off to Prime and they made like Prime 1, 2, 3, they're working on 4, they made Other M and so on and so forth. I'm just glad they're going back to, what I know Metroid to be. It created the Metroidvania like genre. I'm just glad to see another one and like a sequel to Fusion because that was when I made my list of top 10 Game Boy Advance games and made that whole video. I think Metroid Fusion was right among the top like 2, so I was excited. And then the whole trailer, having, I don't know if you guys saw it, but basically at one point she's getting chased by this indestructible robot. And with Dread being in the title, it puts me right back into the mindset I had when I played Fusion. In Fusion, there was a whole, there was the SAX or whatever it was called. It was basically like a copy of Samus. It was just like a copy of her suit, and it was like a virus kind of thing, and it chased her around and trying to kill her. And you had to run away from it because you couldn't destroy it, and that was like basically a large part of the game. It's like survival kind of horror. Like I gotta get away from this until the end of the game, and you can finally like destroy it or whatever. And I feel like Dread is kind of going in that similar thing with like this indestructible robot that keeps chasing her around. It really kind of hyped things up for me, and I'm hoping it's going to be, as good. The graphics quality, of course, I saw it improve, but as long as the gameplay is similar to games like Fusion and Super Metroid and whatnot, I can't imagine myself being disappointed. And finally, a new Switch game for me to get because I feel like they haven't been releasing many like new games. It's been a lot of just remakes, and we don't need a remake every month of like another game. I like seeing. So
I've been emulating Switch, so I have access to pretty much like anything that's any new games that come out. There's nothing. Like I'm not even interested enough to download like new Switch games for most. I'm waiting for Project Triangle Strategy.
Right.
I don't think that was teased at E3 at all. Zelda 2 looks cool though.
I mean, if you like
that was the game everybody was hyped for, but Breath of the Wild 2. Yeah.
Did you not? I thought you didn't like Breath of the Wild, Keith. Or maybe that was somebody. Or sorry.
No, that's me.
Oh my god,
that's right.
Just really.
That was me. That's why I was more excited for Metroid Dread really than the new Zelda.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you didn't like Breath of the Wild. Not that you on stream, but yeah.
Yeah. I was the one.
Here's his home address, guys. No, I'm just playing.
I was one of the few guys that was like not impressed. I just want them to go back to. I mean, they're making a remaster or remake of Skyward Sword, though, also releasing on the Switch soon.
That's right.
I think
So
this week.
That's going to use like the motion controls, right?
I hate motion
That
control.
was the motion control one, wasn't it?
On the Wii, yeah. On the Wii, it was like the motion control thing where you had to use the Wiimote or stick or whatever it's called. I never played the original one. I'm going to play this on the Switch now, though. I heard it was pretty good.
Does the
I've never
Switch
been a
have
fan
that?
of it.
Like, if you got the Switch motes, are they like...
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
I'm doing like the baton thing like I'm at a
The
rave.
Joy-Cons and stuff like that. I'm not a fan of motion control, truly, though. I don't
Pro
know.
controller
Like,
also has motion too.
the PS3 tried it. The Wii tried it. It's just, I don't know. It feels gimmicky to me, and I never really liked
motion
it.
control with VR is like, I mean, motion control works with VR. I haven't had it really work any other way.
I feel that with the motion control. I think the only thing, like VR, is the only thing I could get on board with. Everything else, I just kind of was like,
Seems tacky.
I'd rather just have like a normal pad and that'd be it. So
But surprising lack of Project Triangle strategy. Again, I'm gonna address Nintendo directly. I'm not gonna swear at you, Nintendo, because I know you guys are really sensitive with this kind of feedback. I really hope for Project Triangle strategy. It looks really good. Can't wait.
Next year, right?
I don't know. Whenever it comes, like
I think they said 2022. I'm hoping it doesn't get delayed or anything. Like, it seems like it's gonna be pretty good. I didn't play the demo yet.
Yeah, there's a demo. I haven't played it.
I didn't play it yet, though.
Demo won't work on the emulator as of this date. Like, it's just a black screen, unfortunately.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
Man.
But it looks good. Like, from what I've seen, it looks amazing. It looks like it's everything that I want it to be. Like, you know, what we're kind of lacking in that turn-based strategy genre. You know, we had a couple good games. Dark Crystal was actually surprisingly good. Into the Breach was very like a streamlined version and like did a very interesting kind of roguelike spin on the genre. But other than that, like real-time strategies kind of went to the real. I mean, if you go into the XCOM side of things, we got some interesting stuff. XCOM is good, and like there's some XCOM-like spin-offs, like the Rabbids and Mario. Apparently, is really good. I haven't had a chance to play it, but like I've seen people playing it. It seems really fun.
Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Yeah, I have it. It's pretty wacky, like you would expect from Mario and Rabbids. You know, it's like your first. If it's your first like foray into I don't know what you call it, RTS or whatever, then you're gonna be like, oh, this is easy, simple, but it still maintains all the core features that you would like. You know what I mean? Okay. But it's not like extreme or anything like that. But speaking of which, they're making a sequel to it, which I found out just like yesterday, and I'm actually excited for that too.
Okay, so that was probably an E3 thing. Like we got onto it somehow there.
Yeah, they're making a sequel. They just announced it. Mushroom. What is it called? Actually, just read the title like a second ago. Mushroom.
But Mario it's not going to be Project Triangle strategy. Oh my god!
No.
For me, I'm hyping that so much. It's not possibly going to be able to deliver on everything that I expect. Like it just seems so good. But like Octopath delivered, so I have high expectations. Like Octopath.
I'm waiting for a sequel to Octopath Traveler. Like they gotta do something with that.
I keep saying they're going to re-release like Saga Frontier 2 and Unlimited Saga again before they actually give us an Octopath Traveler 2.
They probably will at this point, honestly. It's probably easier for them
Saga Frontier 2 I would get behind, not Unlimited Saga.
I know Unlimited Saga is garbage and should be forgotten about, but I heard that they're re-releasing it, so...
I have no idea if it's garbage or not. I don't understand it.
It was okay, but it wasn't like Saga Frontier 2 to me. That's still the best one in the series for me.
Every one of them, like, so Saga Frontier was like a change for me. Like I played like the Final Fantasy games, and Saga Frontier is like it's the same, but like in ways vastly different than a Final Fantasy game.
Oh yeah.
So Saga Frontier was like this thing that I had to like adjust my like gamerness to like get around and enjoy, and then like I got really into it, and then Saga Frontier 2 came out, and it did to me again, where I was like, this is different. Like this is not Saga Frontier 1. And it's not Final Fantasy. Like this is all like new and innovative stuff, and it took me a while again to like get into it and appreciate it. And I think I still don't to the level that you do, Enigma. But like I need to go back and revisit it, right? Like with an adult scope. And then Unlimited Saga did it again, kind of, but like I have never been able to get far enough in it for me to like appreciate it as like what it is now. Like maybe I think like maybe like they broke the streak on 3, or like I don't understand like I'm missing something with it. You know what
Not
I
a
mean?
lot
Like
of
I need to
people
spend
hated it.
100 hours and like get addicted to. Yeah, well,
Maybe.
it doesn't explain anything. Like there's no the world map is a board game.
Yep.
And you move on to squares, and when you hit like certain squares, it's like a random event happens. But sometimes it's not random. Like there are actual places you need to go, but there's like no map telling you where you need to go. And then like you have all these different things, like like count life points. If you don't know what life points are, like if you just come from like a Final Fantasy and you're playing something with life points, like your character is permadead now, and you're like, what? Start the game, and it's just like start the game over. Like, so like for me, like I got lost in it, and there's no like manual for it. I don't think, as far as I could tell, the manual is not unhelpful to like all these like deep game systems that like maybe exist, or I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So more research needed on Saga Frontier or Unlimited Saga.
Well, maybe they'll
But
re-release
Saga
it
Frontier 2 remake would be
and
amazing.
actually explain it. Yeah, I can't wait for a Saga Frontier 2 remake. I'll be all over that.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Saga Frontier 1 remake delivered in a big way,
Oh yeah,
in a massive way. It was
There's no reason to play the original
gold.
now. Like, just play the new one.
Nope.
Doesn't waste
Exactly.
your time. It's extra
it's
content.
better and objectively better in every way.
Yeah, agreed.
Like I can't think of the one aspect where the original is better than the remake. Like they took it and they didn't change anything. They just made it better.
Yeah, they just added on
that's
to
what
it.
they need to do with the Final Fantasy stuff.
Right.
E3. Okay, so what else was that E3? New Fallout.
There's another. They announced the Guardians of the Galaxy game,
Oh,
which was
yeah.
random to me.
Yeah,
Wait,
that
what?
was one of the
I
things that
should
made me
care
angry.
about that, but I don't.
I like
I
the
don't like it.
movies, but I don't know what the hell the game's supposed to be about. Like, is it a shooter? Like, what the hell? I don't know.
Yeah, and like it's not even as funny as the movies. Like, you know what I mean? I know that they're not going to be able to afford the movie
Of
actors,
course.
or like, like okay, so maybe they're trying a different direction with like Star-Lord, because you can't really get somebody to do the same thing. But it just doesn't like the comedy doesn't hit. I'm not there, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 were freaking great movies, but I feel like a game is kind of. It seems like it's coming out of nowhere. I don't really understand. I mean, maybe they're hyping it up for like part 3 or whatever, I guess.
Maybe.
The Suicide Squad game that like it's not even an E3 thing. It, like the trailer for it came out a while ago looks way better. Like that got me. I don't even know what that game is, but I'm just like, this is more entertaining because Shark Guy is funny, right? Like,
What do you guys think of the new Suicide Squad movie that's been like the trailers and stuff?
I think it's going to be better than the first one.
Yeah, my only
It's
like
kind of a low bar, but
as I started like doing research into it, because I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw all the trailers and stuff, I thought the costume design was awful. Like I know it's going off like the comics and stuff, but like I don't know, it just looks really like B-Tech or like really tacky.
I like John Cena's character, like costume design.
Yeah.
Like it's tacky intentionally, right? Like he's that kind of thing. I don't know. Were you talking about a specific character? I don't remember what they all look like.
I don't know.
There's like a Shark Guy. Shark Guy's cool. I like Shark Guy and everything he's in. Apparently. Like they were doing really good with that character.
I don't know. I just kind of looked at it and like, I'm excited for it, and I'm definitely gonna see it. I'm glad I did more research because it kind of settled me more into it. But when I first saw it, I was like, oh god, the costume design for all of them I don't know. It just looked really tacky. But yeah, I guess that is done like on purpose. But I don't know. After the first one as well, like it just seems like the shift of it is just completely different.
Yeah, well,
what I've taken away.
They have a pretty low bar here. Like, to be better than the original, like just not hated is fine. Like, just as long as they focus on the comedy. That's the thing with the Suicide Squad is they're gonna have to, you know what I mean? Like Kato was everybody's favorite character in Mortal Kombat. Like that kind of cynical. That's what they're looking for with the Suicide Squad is cynical comedy.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
And that's where they're gonna have an action sequence. It'll be whatever the CG action sequence. Every one of them has it. Like the movie's not made on that; it's made on the characters. So it's really how they deliver on that. And from what I see from the trailers, it looks like it's going to be fun. But it's not going to be Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what I mean? Guardians of the Galaxy is like, or like even with like a lot of the Marvel stuff, even Ant-Man. Like I sort of just like that vibe is something that DC shouldn't aim for. So they got to be a lot more cynical and dark with it.
I prefer, when like DC does like cynical and dark stuff, that's where I'm kind of with them. But when they try to do like more like what Marvel is, it just kind of doesn't really sit well with me, I guess.
Yeah, it didn't for me anyway. Like, I mean, even the Snyder cut of Justice League. It's good. It's better than the original.
I watched that, and I think the only thing that kind of just did me in was like the ending with Jared Leto's Joker being in it. I don't know. Part of me, like, I liked it.
Did you like it or didn't like it?
I liked it. I thought he looked better. He looked really good. I don't know. Part of me was just kind of like his scene. I was just not overly sold on, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Me with Justice League in general, I'm just not always overly sold on. Like, I'll enjoy it, but
I would like to see him. I would like to see his. Like, give him a shot. You know what I mean? Give him not Suicide Squad. I would like to see that. And same thing with like Ben Affleck. Batman was fine. Like, give him a solo movie still. Like, he's probably not interested though, but like, I would watch it.
Sure.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson's.
That one looks awesome. That's great. Holy shit, I'm into that shit.
Really hyped for that. So
that's like the dark, cynical. That's what it is. They're leaning into it, and that's the same thing with the like the Scorsese joke. That's not Scorsese, but like the Joker movie. Like I enjoyed that as well, but like probably because like I'm not an incel, but like that's the joke.
Yeah.
So DC stuff, like I don't know if there was anything at fucking E3 about them. We're not even talking. It's fine. Welcome to the Serenial podcast, where the topic is only a suggestion.
Yeah.
We started from the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but Guardians of the Galaxy game, right? Doesn't look good to me. I'm not interested in the slightest. I saw the trailer. Like, there was nothing in it. I was just like, I was actually kind of turned off by it. I was like, yeah, no, I just want the next movie. Like,
and the Avatar game, like, where did that come from?
Yeah, like,
I didn't see the trailer for that, but I saw that it was a thing. Is that like I gotta research that because I haven't looked at it yet. But is that like is that Avatar 2 or is it not that?
I have no idea. Avatar is one of the highest selling movies in the world, but why are they making a game about it right now? This kind of weird to me. Yeah, is James Cameron making the game? Like, is he? I have no idea. It's just it's so random to me.
It's kind of a big deal if James Cameron is. Yes, it's shocking to me. That's why I kind of like. I think I may have just like repressed the memory of like seeing the thing in my feed, because James Cameron is James Cameron, and like Avatar was a thing that's gonna lead into things, but like I don't know, like the video game thing, like. What is he innovating in the video game medium? This is the thing. Like, what is James Cameron thinking? Like, this man. Now we're going to address James Cameron directly. I'm interested. I'm interested in seeing James Cameron hit the video game industry, but like, there's a lot to the video game industry. Like, there's for James Cameron to do James Cameron for video game, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like I feel like my expectations, I have to reset them back to like early James Cameron. You know what I mean? Like, we're not at like Leviathan. I hope he made Leviathan and not The Abyss. It's either the Leviathan and The Abyss. Like, there were two fucking underwater movies that came out at the same time. James Cameron made one that had a giant fucking pool of water, and like everybody was underwater for the entire fucking shoot. Like, he's that motherfucker. He did like Titanic and like did the dive, like just so we could go see Titanic underwater, right? Like, this dude, for filmmaking, he has moved mountains and like made miracles happen for like his movies, right? Like, his films have even like just like the insane levels of filmmaking. So for him to translate that into video game as a medium is like this weird uncharted ground where I'm like, what are you going to do? You must have seen like the South Park episode where like James Cameron raised the bar too high. We can't get over the bar because he raised it too high. That's the thing with James Cameron. So what's he doing with video games? Like, he's going to fucking destroy the video game universe as we know it, possibly, with whatever he's doing. I got to look at this trailer. You know what I mean? Or like maybe he'll do nothing and like I don't know. Like, I assume he's not involved at all. Like, it's like the studios, like, we fucking own the rights to Avatar. We're making a quick buck off this. And James Cameron's like, like tripping out, like trying to murder somebody right now. Is what I assume is happening with this, but I don't know. I got to see the trailer. Maybe
all I know is that Ubisoft apparently are the publishers for the game, and I don't know. It might be related to a sequel. I never saw the first Avatar movie, honestly, so I don't really know much about it. Like, I don't even know.
That was the first Blu-ray movie I ever watched. Avatar.
Really?
Yeah.
Basically, like Space Marines go to another planet, and like they send like I don't even remember like the finer plot details because I like watched it once and I'm like, okay, I'll wait for like more of it.
I heard the movie's getting a sequel too. Like that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
like,
well, there's supposed to be
15 years later or something like that.
There has to be more. There has to be more because
I'm curious. It looks
like that one. I feel like it was the visual spectacle of the time.
Oh yeah,
like
for sure.
That was the big
gorgeous
innovation with Avatar.
Yeah.
Was like just how visually and like the 3D was like the big thing with it. So with the game, I don't know, man. Like it could be, and it's Ubisoft. So like, what is? I'm just trying to think. Like Ubisoft, what are they doing lately? So they're like Assassin's Creed,
Far Cry.
Like, no, they got Far Cry. Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, they. I mean, I don't play their games. Honestly, they have Watch Dogs.
I'm pretty sure I saw a Far Cry 6 trailer.
You did.
Like I don't know if it was E3 related, but it's like a new game related.
No, you mentioned
so
it.
Like that's something that they're teasing. Yeah.
What's that other game that I
They're
saw?
doing this.
Immediately after
The next Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah, Into the Abyss or something.
Ubisoft.
What was it?
Into the Abyss. What's that?
Is that what I'm? No.
What's Into the Abyss?
What is it? I'm trying to remember. It seemed like a horror type of thing, but
I don't know.
You didn't really get to see a lot of it. I thought I heard that. That might not even be right, but like I can picture it. Or like Into the Shadow. Or
like you mean as an Ubisoft game?
I think it was like before or after Far Cry trailer that I saw.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, it's probably just like a new property. I just wasn't aware of it. Cool.
I never really played Ubisoft games too much. I mean, outside of like Rayman, because that's freaking great to me. But the other ones, Far Cry and Watch Dogs, I never really played. Oh, and South Park, yeah.
South Park.
South Park. Okay. You know what? I think Ubisoft is probably a good choice for Cameron. Like they've done things with properties that were good.
Yeah.
Like South Park, as like taking South Park and making it into Stick of Truth, and then the Fractured Butthole were perfect moves, video game wise.
That was good. That was good.
But they definitely got a lot of, Matt Stone, Trey Parker working with them. So, like, if you get Ubisoft plus James Cameron, then you might get some action.
This is what's up.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. It says it's going to be a first-person shooter, open world kind of game. So I'm thinking like Borderlands or something like that. I don't know. That's kind of
you know what? I think James Cameron could do some really special things. Anyway, James Cameron, I'm sorry for like summoning you. I'm not addressing you any further, but if you need help, like just hit me up. I'll send you a resume. I'll help you like design your game.
Yeah, but
I know about video games, and I like know a little bit about film, but I know a lot about video games, but not like development. But like I could help you design.
I mean, oh man. Yeah, there was Far Cry 6 announced and things of that nature. Yes. People are looking forward to that. I never played a Far Cry game, honestly. I hear they're really great.
I've seen a little bit of 5 and it looked cool, but like it's another new series. It's like, do I want to get into another series that has 6 games already?
I don't know if it was Crysis or Far Cry, but I played one of the early ones. No, I did play Far Cry because of the Cry engine. So I played a little bit of it just so that I could try to like figure out how to like design in their maps. And it was one of the easier ones, and you could like make cutscenes and stuff. It was like before Gmod and stuff like that. That one was fun. And like Crysis is always good. So like I don't know, Far Cry. I like the stories of Far Cry. Like they write really good villains for those. Like the one where the kids were stuck on the beach. I think it was 3. And like the dude just like kidnaps them and like murders them, and like but he has to survive, and like that was pretty cool.
That was like after that one. That's kind of like, and the Blood Dragon. Those two were like after that. I kind of just like lost touch with Far Cry.
I want to play Blood Dragon. I hear that's really good.
Yeah, it's really fun. But yeah, 3 was really good, especially with the like main villain and the like whole like he keeps repeating the same speech to you and stuff. but like they kind of ruined like the last half of that game is kind of when it starts to dip a bit. But yeah, it was good.
Okay. All right. I might check that out. But I mean, Far Cry 6, I don't know. I wasn't interested in Far Cry 5, even though it was kind of cool. Like, I like the whole idea of, like, the cult thing, but it was just, like, too far removed from reality, I guess. But, like, so was Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
First-person shooters are a hard sell for me anyway, but, like, that would be one that I would get into because of the narrative.
Another game that was announced that I actually really was looking forward to a bit was Advanced Wars. I don't know if you guys played the originals for Game Boy Advance 1 and 2.
I didn't know that was teased at E3. I'm hyped now.
They're remaking Advanced Wars 1 and 2 and putting it in a single collection for the Switch. All new graphics and everything like that. It's called.
So it's not like a new game. It's like a remake of them. But still, though, that's good. Like I like Advanced Wars.
Remaking them for the Switch. Hopefully, this leads into a sequel because I would prefer a sequel honestly. But sometimes they remake the originals to lead up to a sequel. So this might be, the leading up to that, which I'm hoping. But I would love a new Advanced Wars. They stopped
online,
like 10 years.
Online multiplayer, like co-op and versus. It'd be amazing.
I mean, it can go so many places with it. There's 5 Advanced War games, I think. Like Game Boy Advance, then it went to the DS, and I think they kind of just stopped after that. But I would love a new game. That was one of my favorite series for the Game Boy Advance.
I think that's one of my favorite Nintendo properties. Definitely top 10.
Yep. Well, with Nintendo was hard. They have their they only have like a dozen franchises, but almost every single one is like a childhood favorite or classic in some way.
No,
I wanted an announcement of a new Fire Emblem, but
that would be sick.
That would have been. Oh man, I would have loved that. But I'll take a new Mushroom Kingdom battle game, and Advanced Wars and Metroid.
I'll take Zelda 2. That's all I needed. Nintendo, they're good. They got Project Triangle Strategy and Zelda 2. That's all I really need.
I'll take a remake of Twilight Princess. That was for the GameCube and the Wii, I think. I mean, that'd be pretty cool too, because they already remastered or whatever. They already remade Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and now they're remastering Skyward Sword in HD. So I mean, Twilight Princess just seems like it's the natural next one to do.
Yeah, wait a second.
I feel like they skipped over it.
Why are they remaking Skyward Sword before Twilight Princess? Is it because it wasn't as well received? Yeah, or Wind Waker for that matter.
I think less people played
there was a Wind Waker
Sword.
HD, wasn't there?
Yeah, well, Wind Waker did get an HD version for the Wii U, right, or something?
I'm not sure.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure.
Yep. Wind Waker HD
I
Wii U.
play it on my Wii U emulator, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Twilight Princess got skipped over because that was the one that was GameCube and Wii, right around that time when they transitioned. And it was pretty good. I questioned
that until just now. It's like how that
they skipped over it and went to Skyward Sword.
I think it's because Twilight Princess was a more popular game, so more people are familiar with it. Whereas Skyward Sword, it was less accessible because of the motion controls.
Yeah.
So I think they're banking on people that haven't played it before being like, "This is the Zelda that I haven't played." It's that one that's in everybody's list that they haven't. That's the one that I haven't played.
I just think about it like how Square just kind of skipped over Final Fantasy VI. It's like, why are you doing that? I would play a Twilight Princess.
Remember, there's 2 other Zelda games.
6 is in that remaster thing. It's the 6 games.
Well, I guess so. Yeah, you're right.
Zelda,
and the one that's upcoming that they didn't put any footage of, so it could look like garbage. So they're just gonna do the mobile port again, and I'm gonna.
There's 2 Zelda games for the 3DS, I believe, or was it the DS? They had Spirit Tracks and the Phantom Hourglass or something it was called. I mean, I never played them because I never had a DS. I feel like they should bring those to the Switch in some way. I mean, I think I would try them out if that's the case. I mean, a lot of DS games I never played because I never had a DS. I only had a 3DS, so I skipped every DS game basically, dang near. So,
literally, the only reason I didn't play Spirit Tracks was trains don't appeal to me. It's not that I don't like trains. It's just it's Zelda with trains. I'm just gonna go back and play.
It is weird. But I mean, is the gameplay outside of that similar to the other Zelda games? Because if that's the case, I would take it.
I would assume.
I think it's because it's DS, it's probably uses the dual screen or something. There's something about it. They should bring back Radiant Historia. I don't know who developed that. I don't think it's just a Nintendo IP, but that was a good game.
I want to say it's Tri-Ace, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I played that for a half hour. It rubbed me the wrong way, and I've never given it another chance.
Historia?
I liked it.
Radiata's stories.
So like, I was looking for.
It says Atlas.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right because you said Triace. It's it's time travel. Like it's like a Chrono. I was looking for Chrono Trigger like RPGs. But yeah, so like you play through the battle is like Mega Man Battle NT Network. It kind of sucks, but you get so far into the game and like essentially like things in the story mess up, and they're like, oh, you got to go back in time, and then like there's like this whole time path thing, like Detroit Become Human, like these branching paths that you can go back to and change things about. And it's, I don't know, it's pretty cool and deep. I didn't beat it. Like, I only played, like, 5-6 hours of it.
Okay.
But it was all right.
I never played it. But
yeah, just the old DS game. I don't know.
A lot of DS games, I feel like they should just bring over to the Switch now since, I mean, the Switch does so well, you know. I mean, it's still hard to find it in stores sometimes, honestly, which is crazy.
I'm running low on E3 stuff. The only thing that I got left is the new Fallout.
They didn't give us Fallout? A lot to begin with, E3.
I mean,
Fallout London is what it's called. I don't know if you guys play Fallout.
Nah.
I've played a couple of them.
Yeah, so I played Fallout 3. It was alright.
Yeah.
People tell me
announced a new Rainbow Six game. Rainbow Six Extraction.
I played the Fallout MMO, I forget what it's called. The
76.
Online Fallout. Yeah, Fallout 76. It was like not as bad as everybody made it out to be. It got lambasted by like everybody.
For me with Fallout, like it was really hard to get into that series because like Elder Scrolls was more my thing, for being honest.
Really, so you like Elder Scrolls, but Fallout was hard to get into.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the same game, but with guns.
It's just I think it was just the setting was really what did it for me because I'm more into like medieval fantasy, I guess, than like post-apocalyptic futures and stuff. Like I loved a lot of stuff in Fallout. And I enjoyed the games, but like I think Elder Scrolls, especially Skyrim, kind of won me over.
But we're the tunnel snakes and we rule.
Mate,
we're the tunnel snakes. We rule. We rule these tunnels. We're the tunnel snakes. It's an old meme from like.
I didn't realize that was a Fallout thing.
Yeah, the tunnel snakes are a Fallout thing. No, Fallout. The comedy is there. So Skyrim is kind of, you know how Skyrim is like kind of tongue in cheek about some narratives, where like there's a certain level of like poetic irony to the situations that your character, like the choices that you make. Fallout's really big on that. Like it's really big on those kinds of choices and like the game playing out in different ways, sort of like Skyrim. And yeah, so like the setting is something that I had to get over too, because like again, first-person shooters are a hard sell for me. But Fallout was one that did it well because it's a first-person shooter RPG, which was like really kind of weird to me, and like I liked it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, if you think about it more like an RPG than a shooter, like you know, you're not playing Doom, you might get more mileage out of it. I don't know.
Thing is, I love Doom, but I don't know. Yeah, Fallout was just. There were times where I struggled to keep going with it. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was worth it, but there were moments where I was like really tempted just to kind of pack it in.
Yeah. Well, if you're not invested in the story or the characters, there's no point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. Most of the things I'm excited for, I don't even know if they were even announced at E3. I know there was God of War Ragnarok. That's the main one.
That should be next year.
Yeah, it's like one of the big ones for me. The Resident Evil 4 remake. That's another one.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4 remake's cool. I like the so I haven't played Village yet, but I hear it's like the first half of the game seems really cool.
Looks alright from what I've seen.
My brother, he recently just got through like most of the series, and he says it's like probably one of the best. Especially for the character Ethan, like continuing his storyline, it's miles better than 7. Because like the thing is with 7, like it was good when it came out, but like the more like time passed, the more I was like, it was all right. It kind of
Resident Evil for me is like a 1 or 2, like depending on what you got, like the new game plus. You know what I mean? Resident Evil 2 was a 2 playthrough thing where you play through one story, then you play through the other. Well, maybe 3 because you got to play through as Tofu. Like, come on, man. Resident Evil 3 was like I just played that and then like you unlock modes and play those a little bit. I didn't really want to revisit it. Resident Evil 4 was like kind of revisitable. Like I went back to that and like I enjoyed it on subsequent playthroughs. And Resident Evil 4 is like a masterpiece, though.
Oh yeah.
5 was the one with like the co-op on the Xbox. That one I don't even know if I played it one time. Or yeah, I did, and I didn't like it. That's right. 6
did
I
you
didn't
play
even
it
bother
with
with.
anybody?
That was like another.
5 and
No,
6 you gotta play
it was
co-op.
like with
It's
the
not-
AI.
Yeah.
It's not as fun if you're not playing with somebody. I never played 7 or 8. The last one that I played was 5 and 6. I played with
7
played
was
with
good.
somebody.
7 was really good, but it's more like Silent Hill than Resident Evil by the time we reach 7.
Yeah.
So
Can I?
I think they'd be killer
I-
in
for
VR.
me, when
those
I s-
games. Sorry.
Oh yeah. For me, when like PT was in like came out, and I feel like 7's playable trailer was kind of like a response to PT, because I always felt like Silent Hill and Resident Evil like rivals almost in the survival horror.
that first hallway in Resident Evil 7 is very reminiscent of the PT hallway. Like it's like not a one-to-one thing, but like it invokes the same feel. And then later on in the game, as shit happens, right? Like not spoilers for 7, but like it becomes very Silent Hill-ish, where it's like psychological, and they're like, yeah, like Resident Evil has taken Silent Hill's spot because it needs to be fulfilled. I
Right.
guess.
Well,
I
Silent
feel
Hill's
like
not doing it.
Resident Evil. Well,
Exactly.
yeah, I feel like Resident Evil, when PT was like came out, I kind of felt like that was when they were like, all right, we need to get our shit together, because like I've played like 1 through up to 7 now, and 6 was just awful. I couldn't get into it, and I feel like 7 was their like chance at bringing everything back, and I was kind of like really impressed with what they did with 7. But yeah, it felt very like Silent Hill-y almost.
Yeah, and I miss Silent Hill. Although, like going back, a lot of it is pretty tacky, and like it's like now that I have like a more mature eye on it, it's like like it's so dumb.
Yeah.
But like I appreciate the aesthetic of it, and like just sort of as it progressed, the games got better. Like Silent Hill 1 is like you go into it, it's simplistic. It's a PlayStation game, right? Like, but it's good for what it was. But like Silent Hill, I would say the Room, like 3 and the Room are sort of where they kind of got that perfected. In this, I don't know if you know much about the Silent Hill series, Matt. I assume you do. Like it seems like it's up your alley. But yeah, 3 and 4, like the Room and 3 are the best ones. I don't think I played Homecoming. The one where everything's ice was kind of okay. But the thing is, like Silent Hill is always overpromised. They're like, oh, this game fucking psychologically profiles you to like scare you more, but like it's all like cheap gimmicks all the time.
I think because the main one that I got into was Silent Hill 2, the original for PS2, and like it was really unsettling to play. Like I'll give it that, but a lot, and I liked the whole like every monster has like a deeper meaning to it kind of stuff. But like I don't know, everything compared to Resident Evil, everything just always felt really clunky, like really just
Right.
kind
Gameplay
of
wise, yeah.
yeah, kind of almost like it felt a little bit on purpose, like we're trying to make this really difficult so it's even scarier, and I was just like,
yeah, like your character is rigid, and like the enemies are more of a challenge. Like these little kids are chasing you around, but like they're still imposing.
yeah,
Right. Like I remember being like walking around the fucking school, dreading like running into like one of the dudes in the hallway or whatever. But like Resident, like it got kind of Silent Hill got dumber too, though sometimes. Like they overused Pyramid Head. Like he lost all meaning that he may have had at like at any point.
I feel like Pyramid Head did really well when he first appeared, and then it just kind of came like a massive like selling point in the regards of like everyone knows him, so we can make money off him almost. But I don't know. I felt like he should have just been like a one game kind of thing, and that'd been it.
I like the ambiguity around it, that like as you're playing the game, you don't know if you're actually killing monsters, or like you as a player are questioning if the character is hallucinating this whole thing, and like you're just going around like on a murder spree.
Yeah.
Right? Like hallucinating monsters. And I think that's cool, and like gross out moments and like the puzzles and stuff like that. I really like the puzzle based things in Silent Hill. More so than I did in Resident Evil. The Resident Evil puzzles were usually like Resident Evil 2 had good puzzles. Resident Evil 7's puzzles were just like these stupid silhouette things with light in, like that.
I think
like, I don't know. I'm way off on this tangent. You got me thinking. Sorry, man.
But like,
So I feel like I don't. Go on.
no, I was just like, if you have more to, I was just gonna bring up how they like announced the Fatal Frame game, but like close up your.
Oh
Ooh.
yeah, let's go
I
to
like
that. Yeah.
Oh, they did haven't. I never played Fatal Frame. That was for like the PlayStation 1, right? Or PS2.
Yeah. So picture like Silent Hill or Resident Evil, but instead of giving you a gun or anything to defend yourself, you only have a camera.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard something about that. There's like ghosts and stuff, I think.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
gotta capture ghosts.
Yeah, it's freaking Ghostbusters. Oh man,
I never
That's
played
wild.
one.
I
but
haven't.
They've always interested me.
I never played them either.
I don't think that's the best medium for that concept, though. Like, I mean, I get it, survival horror, ghosts, it equates on paper. But to me, like, if you're gonna have like this ghost capture on camera thing, like, it gotta be like a ghost hunter thing. Like, you gotta be like, it can't be survival horror. The ghost can't be coming after you trying to kill you. You gotta be like searching for them, kind of thing, and like like context clues and like yeah, I would go more for like look at Zach Baggins and the stuff that he does. Like, don't use him as a character because that would be obnoxious. But like, like, but it would take James Cameron level commitment to make a good game to do that kind of experience justice. Like, if you're trying to like capture something like that, like you go into the haunted house and you got a cast of characters, and things slowly come to a, you know what I mean? It's not gonna, the ghost is never gonna jump out and blah in your face. Sorry, I gotta do that blah to the camera. God, I'm facing my screen, not the camera.
I think there's like a Korean film that actually did that, where it was like a bunch of people were like, we want to hit like 1 million viewers on the stream, so they go into like this like abandoned place that's allegedly haunted, and a lot of it starts off stage and they are looking for ghosts, and then it actually comes to fruition that it is haunted and stuff. So it can't. There was a film that did that really well,
Yeah.
but I don't remember what it's called for the life of me.
There's probably a couple. I dare say it's a trope because there's like parodies of that in movies, and like I've seen that in movies. I haven't seen like a really. I think there was Jason. One of the Jason movies was that. I think where they were in the old Jason house and we're doing a reality. I think it was a reality show because it was so old. Like it was before they were doing podcasts, so they were like, "Oh, we're doing a reality show." It was like in that interim era.
Well, that was Halloween, but you might be right.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is Halloween.
Yeah.
Buster Rhymes.
Because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he dresses up as Myers, and then it like Myers is actually there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's like a trope. But like for a video game to do that gameplay wise, like it would have to not be like Resident Evil. Like the ghosts can't be enemies. Like it can't be just like stupid video game enemies that are standing around with like, you know what I mean? Like it got to be like do PT. PT had it right.
I am so
Slow
upset.
burn.
I'm so upset that never happened.
Oh, that would have been.
But
Me too. That would have changed. Like, I mean, that is so. Like, and I'm sad that we got Death Stranding because I just can't get behind it.
I played about 2.5 hours of Death Stranding, and it literally just felt like video game the movie.
I can't. I don't even. I'm not interested at all.
Like
at all.
Oh man, I never played Death Stranding. It was, I kind of just, I don't know. It was extremely overhyped. I feel like. I'm sure the story was probably good, but
do you think PT could have delivered I don't know how long, like 12-hour experience that would have been akin to what was delivered in that demo, though? That's the thing. Like that demo would set a pretty high bar. So like, if anything they would have released probably would have fell short. I feel.
I feel like
because like in that microcosm of what you were doing in PT, it worked perfectly in that that small environment. But once you get out into that greater world and you got like more systems and stuff to deal with, they can't be as tight with the narrative and like sort of. But like, I mean, I guess the mentality was they don't care if you miss context clues. You know what I mean? There's so much going on that 90% of players going through it, they're just like running through repeatedly and not paying attention to things.
Well, there was like a massive internet hype about it when they were like, everyone was trying to figure out like what the game was before obviously it came out. It was Silent Hills. And Yeah, I feel like what would have happened if the game had actually come out would be like the first half would have like lived up to it, and I feel like the last half probably would have just slowly dropped off a bit.
Yeah, well, like it's very un-Silent Hill as well,
Oh yeah.
gameplay-wise. The demo, you know what I mean? There's no combat to be found, right? And that's the way to go. Let's be real here. Combat in video games for like it's overused. Every game has combat. Why does every game have to have combat in it? Like you could just have like an experience, right?
Yeah.
Like Detroit Become Human, I think, sort of gave us that.
Hell yeah.
What there? Oh, dude, fucking, you would love. Have you played the Dark Pictures anthology, Matt?
I've heard of it, but I never got around to playing it. No.
They're really good. So they deliver on sort of like a horror narrative in a video game form that integrates gameplay in like a logical way. But like again, people find them dull because they're you're not shooting zombies. So it's if you want that, it's a weird thing for gaming. And like now that we're James Cameron gaming, we got to start thinking about these things. James Cameron's in gaming now, guys. We raised the bar. You don't get it, yeah.
Games that lack combat, people tend to say those are like walking simulators. Like, have you guys ever played any of the Telltale games? They have Borderlands, Batman, Game of Thrones.
That's exactly why I didn't want to play Death Stranding.
It's I mean, I love a good narrative. So if the story is good, even if the combat is lacking or not there at all, I don't need action every 5 minutes. I just need some sense of I'm enthralled and I'm immersed. I loved the Telltale games. I played Wolf Among Us and Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead Season 1, and they were all honestly like spectacular to me. But the narrative, the story they told was, actually interesting. I didn't need to be shooting someone to keep my attention. But I mean, that's why I love video gaming as a medium as a whole, because there's so much of a variety. You know what I mean? Like you can find damn near whatever.
But at that point, like if you're just there for the narrative, what makes it better than a film, right?
Because you're making your own choices. It's like it's like an interactive film that's longer than a standard feature length film. Right. You know what I mean?
Playing a TV
like
series.
It's more akin to a season of a series, yeah.
Yeah, it's like watching a whole series of a show, except you're making choices still too that impact the narrative as a whole. So you still feel more immersed because you feel like your choices kind of had some kind of weight. You know what I mean? So there's that level of it. That layer makes it a little bit more interesting for me than watching a movie sometimes.
And the more weight, the better. Because I've seen them do that where their choices mean nothing, and that's so unsatisfying. Sorry, Matt, you're trying to get a word in. Go ahead.
Sorry, there's two games that actually come to mind when I think. The first, I didn't really care for the series after the first one, but Five Nights at Freddy's, the first one, like that whole thing of like the only thing you can do is just sit in this chair and these things will come toward. I like that idea, but the other one where going off the whole like you walk around and like your choices matter and there's not really that much like action is like Until Dawn and those kind of games.
So Until Dawn is the precursor to the Dark Pictures. So like Until Dawn, it's the exact same gameplay as Until Dawn.
Yeah. Man, was it like Man of Medan, Little Hope, and something else?
Yes. So Little Hope, if you like Silent Hill, Little Hope is basically like a Silent Hill-esque kind of narrative. Yeah. Man of Medan is pretty cool too. You're exploring like this old abandoned ship, essentially, and it's like just really cool settings and narratives and characters.
Yeah, Until Dawn and Little Hope were the two that really like sold me. Man of Medan was good, but I just wasn't really that invested in that one. But Little Hope, especially with like the whole Silent Hill thing and like the whole like each character has like their own kind of like thing to deal with. But
I'm excited for the next one too. I'm not spoiling what it is. I don't know.
No, neither. Yeah, I
just know it's going to be good. They've been delivering, so.
Games like Outlast, but I don't know if you guys ever played the Blair Witch game.
Yes, I did. I have mixed feelings about it.
For a game based off the Blair Witch, when I heard it was announced, I was really worried it was going to be awful, and it was surprisingly like wasn't like the best game in the world, but it did so much right, and I felt like it kind of fit the whole like Blair Witch lore really well. There was just like, because I looked up certain endings and stuff, and to get like certain endings is just like it's just kind of really, I don't know, I think they made it a bit too difficult. almost.
Right. Yeah, I remember vaguely that I got like a mediocre ending, and then I looked up the endings and I'm like, oh, I had to like all kinds of things I had to do.
Yeah.
I think for like okay, so for a Blair Witch game, it did do a lot of things right. You're right. I think the one thing they did wrong was make it hallway and not open world based.
Yeah, I kind of wish it was a lot more open world because I think, again, going back to the Blair Witch Lore thing, I think it would have fitted it really well. But
Yeah, that like they thought they missed that one obvious thing with it. Like the hallway thing is good because they can tell like a concise story and sort of like shuffle you to where as lost. But like Blair Witch, you're supposed to feel lost.
Yeah, I think that would.
But like I loved like it started off so amazing, really good. Like the narrative, like how you get in there, like with the dog and like your relationship with the dog was maybe the best part. I'm just thinking like I'm getting memories now, like they're all flooding back of the game.
Oh yeah,
it was all right.
Yeah, it was one of them games where I really enjoyed playing it, but I probably won't go back to it after I beat it. And
Exactly. Yeah, I beat it once. I didn't even go to get the second endings. I just looked them up on YouTube.
yeah.
But yeah, if they would have taken that and made that an open world thing and like made that work in some way, I think that would have been like the perfect Blair Witch game. But like as far as video game properties, I'd give that one like a solid pass.
Actually, there's one thing I do want to ask about the ending without trying to spoil too much.
I'm trying to remember, but go ahead.
So the ending, for context, is you're in a house. She'll like you get lured into that house. My only issue with that entire end scene before you get like no payoff is it goes on for way too long. Like
that house was
it took so to the point
where that's the way Blair Witch though. Like the house is bigger. You know what I mean? That's the fucking what the witch is doing, right? Like,
but I think
or the woods or whatever.
My only issue with that would like because it went on. Like there was a point where I was like, if it stopped and you got the payoff, it would have been the perfect amount. But they went over just a little bit too much, where it was like the sense of dread just kind of started to leave, and you just kind of were like, all right, I just kind of want to know what's going to happen now, instead of just.
That's exactly how I felt about it too. Like I just got to a point where I'm like, this is the logical where it should have ended, and then it was just hallway after hallway after hallway, and I was just like frustrated. I'm like, where the fuck is the end of the game? And then I like as I recall it, like. I don't want to like spoil the ending, but yeah, I remember something about sacrificing something that I didn't want to sacrifice, and being like that was dumb. And then
there's like so like without spoiling it, but there's like a scene where like you're just walking around this one corridor basically type thing, and it's like you have an option to sacrifice something, and if you don't, like it goes on for way.
Yes, that. I remember now. I fucking repressed that memory.
Yeah,
that pissed me off. Like they didn't need to. Well, I don't know, emotional journeys, I guess. But like now, I remember walking down that fucking not a hallway, like outside in the fucking rocks.
There's like a big, like just two cliffs at the side, and you just keep walking, and you're like in a cavern almost. And
yeah,
it's like...
and I completely forgot about that whole thing until now, and that was like yeah.
Yeah,
dude, Blair Witch is doing a shit on me. Like I forgot all about that. Like.
I think the only reason it was so long was because they were trying to just basically bait players out to be like, okay, we want this scene to end so we can move on. But it's like it changes.
You can just like, is that like how that affects the ending? Like you go on for so long, it doesn't go on forever. I just figured it went on forever. It was just like
it goes on for a really, really long time, but there is an actual ending to that scene where if you don't sacrifice the thing, but the entire point of that scene is to kind of almost make you break into just sacrificing it just to get it over.
I gave in. Yeah, yeah. Fuck that game and knowing exactly what I was thinking at the time.
I mean, it was clever, but also it was just like I'm so ready for the next bit. I'm so done with this bit.
I don't know. Yeah, but like Blair Witch. Like I mean, it's better than Blair Witch 2. The game is better than Blair Witch 2 in my opinion.
Oh god, that movie was awful. Like the first one and the third one, like the 2016.
Arab and Enigma have no idea. You guys saw the Blair Witch, right? Like
no, I haven't a single. Nope, never saw the game. I mean, never saw the movie or the game.
Wow. Okay.
I've only heard the title.
I'm actually surprised. Like I've
seen like a trailer.
Yeah,
that's about it, really.
Like I know about all the range of it, but like, and I heard there was a game.
Yeah. So like, I'm not gonna say anything. Y'all gotta watch it though. Like,
the film, like basically the original Blair Witch film is like the granddaddy of like all found footage horror films.
Yeah.
And, like,
Oh yeah.
if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't have like Paranormal Activity and stuff like that.
Right.
The film is amazing. The second one, don't bother.
Oh man. Well, like I mean, they made a bunch of money, so there were probably drugs involved. I don't blame the creators. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Get that dump truck of money, bro.
It was just, I don't know. It felt in that era of like when Rob Zombie made Halloween. It just felt in that really awful horror like franchise, like late early 2000s, I guess.
Oh, Evil Dead. I don't know if this was an E3 thing, but there's an Evil Dead video game coming up. It's like Dead by Daylight or like
Yeah,
the
there
Jason
is.
game.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Wait.
I mean, I like Evil Dead, but like that style of game to me is just kind of boring. I don't know. Like I don't know why people get like so addicted to it and like just play it all day.
I played like a lot of Dead by Daylight, and I played like a little bit of the Jason game, but I just kind of like. It's one of the things that it's fun with friends, like on a random night where everyone's like, "Oh, what do you want to play?" But it's not a game that I could just get addicted to.
Right. Yeah, it's more about the people that you're playing with that. Like most
Yeah.
multiplayer games nowadays is like, who's the crowd as opposed to the gameplay.
Yeah, I never played Dead by Daylight or any. I never really was into horror or survival games too much, so I never really looked into those series.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight in specific, and like the Jason game seems really repetitive to me. Like it's just the one style of game, like the one gameplay thing where you're either, a survivor or the killer, and then the killer has certain powers, and then like every time you're the survivor, you're like go to the generator, go to the car. Like there's not enough of a variety of things to do in the game to justify my time.
I started watching a stream of it, and I was just like, but people love it.
Yeah,
Whenever you wanna
I got bored
I
watching
like
streams of it.
And I was just like, I watched it for 5 minutes, and I was kind of like, I'm really not interested at all. Like, but that's why I say there's such a wide variety of games. Like, there's people even interested in that stuff, and it doesn't interest us at all, and vice versa. It's like Fortnite. I have no interest in it, but it has a fan base of like freaking 500 million people probably.
I mean,
Something out there for everybody.
Like I like the idea of having a game where there's like one boss character and then like a team of like underpowered people versus that boss character, but just not in a like in the horror context where it's like, oh, you're just surviving. I want to be able to fight back. You know what I mean? Like have like I'm sure like Call of Duty or like some first person shooters do this where there's a mode where there's like one super powered character and then everybody else is like fighting them as like a boss. Like I like that in I think it was S4 League or maybe it was Guns. S4 League shut down, by the way, guys. Really sad moment for gaming. It was amazing. It was like so unique.
I mean, was it Resident Evil Resistance? Was that kind of idea of like there was one person who would like, they weren't really like a boss as in like they were on the map. They would just like set up like things to stop the four play. It was kind of almost like a Left 4 Dead, but like no one's playing the zombies. You're just placing them and stuff. So it's
like
kind
a
of
multiplayer dungeon keeper kind of thing.
Yeah.
There was a game for that came out a few years ago that did like terrible, like, but people were really hyped for it. I can't remember the name of it. Crap. It was like a group. You play as either the monster or you play as like a group of people fighting it, and you have to like.
Evolve.
Is that what it's called? Evolve.
Well, it was Evolve. Yeah, where like there's like different monsters to pick from, and like
Yeah. I
Evolve,
think it might have been that game. It came out a few years ago, and it was hyped up, but I feel like it didn't really do too well overall. I think that kind of gameplay, I never really was interested in it too much personally, but I feel like that's kind of becoming more of a thing nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, when it came out, like it kind of flopped really fast. But like going back to with the Jason game and like Dead by Daylight, I think the thing that Dead by Daylight does is it's because I've played both, and the Friday the 13th game is like the killer is incredibly overpowered to the point where if the killer sees you, it's kind of like that's the end. Like there's very little you can do. Whereas in Dead by Daylight, you have a bit more of a fighting chance, and there's different like monsters to players, and each monster has like a different kind of like gimmick, I guess you could say. But like, and you also get like new survivors, and even they've got different things. So it's a lot. Like I think if you were ever to play one of the two, I'd say Dead by Daylight because Friday the 13th is very clunky and compared. And
right, and Dead by Daylight gets different licenses. So like I know they had the Stranger Things thing, and whatever slasher villains don't have. They don't. I thought you could be the thing from Stranger Things.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can be the but is it the Demigorgon? You can
Yeah,
be
that's it.
Myers, Freddy. You can be. I'm pretty sure you can be. The guy from
Pinhead.
Jigsaw?
Oh,
Pinhead.
Yeah, wasn't the guy from Scream in it too?
Yeah, Ghostface. What it was called. Yeah, there's quite a. There was like Oh, they've actually. Oh, yeah, they recently did a Resident Evil pack for it, so you can play as Leon and Jill, but you can also play as Nemesis.
So that's obviously the superior game, because like any slasher villain that's not going to have their own game can just go to Dead by Daylight, right? Like, you know, Chucky's like, well, shit, man, the last Chucky movie didn't sell too good, so I guess instead of having my own game, I'll just go on Dead by Daylight. Like,
yeah,
Chucky game would be fun though. Get to run around as Chucky and like kill people, set up traps and shit. Like, Chucky deserves his own game.
Yeah, how's that not happen?
Yeah, that's actually a fair point.
It's probably because whoever the studio is that owns the property is just not very like video game centric.
The reason Jason Voorhees isn't in Dead by Daylight is because of licensing reasons. It's really hard. Like, apparently everyone's fighting over who actually owns the rights to Friday the 13th.
Like, they want to make their own game and make their own money off it instead of like the little, like whatever percentage they would get from those other people.
Although, I don't know if you guys have, like, I don't really keep up with Fortnite because I don't really like it. But the one thing that aggravates me is like,
Never tried it.
Ripley from Aliens is in it.
Mm-hmm.
They've got loads of different like Marvel characters. They've got Kratos.
They had John Wick. Yeah, I know. Like it pisses me off too. Make a better game, but like the kids love it, so it's whatever. We're old guys.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta let the kids have their fun.
Back in my day,
Like they gotta make games for us too, though. Like, come on, guys. Digimon Masters Online, like grown ass people.
Breath of Fire 7, where you at, Capcom?
Dude, careful what you wish for.
Yeah, we got Breath of Fire 6. Never mind. Yeah.
I asked for Breath of Fire 6 and then they made it, dude. Like, be very specific about what you wish for. It's one of those like monkey paw things.
Breath of No, what I really want is like a Resident Evil 2 style remaster of Breath of Fire 2 is what I want. You can even gut half the game if you
I'm
gut
addressing
the right half of
Capcom
the
directly
game.
right now.
Yeah. Come on, Capcom. I was even like started the way that my like day went out, like the Capcom thing was about to start, so I'm just like posting, I'm like, yeah, Breath of Fire, so just like what out just for the laugh of it. Then like
Right, of course.
I came and like I had to go do my thing, came back, it was over, and people were like, what's this crap? Like, I guess the Capcom E3 show, they're like, here are games that we released already. Like,
right, Ghosts and Goblins and stuff like that. I played the Ghosts and Goblins remake, it wasn't bad.
I'm sure it's fine, and like Resident Evil 8, yeah, it's good, I'm sure, and there's more like Phoenix Wright stuff, okay. Where's the Mega Man news?
Oh, yeah. I'd like some more Mega Man in my life.
I think, like, I understand them not wanting to, like, go, but like, what, it was 2018 that 11 came out? You could make an X9 or even a 12. I don't think you'd be polluting the market if you release a Mega Man game.
But yeah, Breath of Fire 7, if they did it right. Like, I mean, I would like Breath of Fire 7, but like, after 6, I don't think like 6 did well anyway. And like, even if it did, like, that's not the direction.
No.
Honestly, like, you know, they just need to go back to like Breath of Fire 1 through 5, and like look at those.
Yeah.
Take what you want from them, and like just sort of do what Dragon Quest did, and I would be satisfied with like the Breath of Fire flavor.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know, with Capcom, like, what was the last RPG that I played from Capcom? Shit.
Last RPG?
Yeah.
Did you play
Monster Hunter?
Yes.
Oh yeah, Monster
Hunter. I played Monster Hunter World. I like that.
Yeah,
that was really good.
I tried.
That could be Breath of Fire. Like, if they were just like, yeah, Monster Hunter is now Breath of Fire, like we just named it differently for the last couple of years, like I would be fine with that, because it's
I'd go back and play
whatever. Like,
at that point. Yeah.
I tried Monster Hunter World. That was the one on the PS4, right?
Yeah, Monster Hunter World's one that I played as well. It's great.
I tried it. I didn't like it too much.
Oh man, you got to get into it though. It's so addictive.
Isn't that like the biggest
one? I tried Monster Hunter back on the PSP like 15 years ago, and I was just like,
yeah, that's the most popular one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just released Rise. I'm just like, too.
I like it because your character sucks. Like you're a human, you're a frail human, and there's this T-Rex jumping around doing all this shit, and you can barely fucking move, right? And you're expected to take down this T-Rex, and it's at first when you play it, it's impossible because you're like, how the fuck am I gonna? And like after 17 hours of playing, you're like, I can take down the T-Rex now, no problem. And yeah, it's just sort of, and like it's this incremental, like you raise yourself slowly, but it's a very like difficult kind of rigid gameplay that like emulates how real life would be if you actually had to fight a fucking T-Rex. It would fuck you up.
Well,
but like eventually you would learn about how the T-Rex fucking moves and like different things, and like even despite your human limitations, you would figure out how to like maybe sometimes negotiate around the T-Rex. Right. But yeah, it's fun. The movie sucked. But Monster Hunter is like there's like Monster Hunter coming out for stuff on E3 that I'm not interested in. Only because like I'm really like Monster Hunter World's where it's at, and like unless you're gonna do something on that scale again, I'm not really like I don't want a single player experience with Monster Hunter or even something that isn't like connected with like a hub world. Essentially, is what it needs, like Monster Hunter World. So I don't know. I got to look into them more, but. Yeah, Monster Hunter. I saw the anime Monster Hunter. I don't know if I like the switch to the anime style. It's different. Like they're making like weeb Monster Hunter. So it's Monster Hunter, but it's anime.
All right, okay.
Which so I showed it to Sage, my buddy locally here, and he didn't like Monster Hunter at first, and then I showed him the trailer for like the anime one, and he was like, "Oh, I like that a little bit better." I'm like, he's like, "I'm not a weeb." He's like, "It's just more appealing."
The Monster Hunter movie, as soon as he announced it, I was like, "Oh, this is just not gonna be good."
It wasn't. It wasn't a good Monster Hunter movie, but it was an alright action flick. Like,
alright. Thing is it Mila Jovovich, whatever she's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. I like her. Like, I loved her in Resident Evil. I'm not gonna lie. I like those films, as bad as they are, but. I don't know, I just couldn't get behind Monster Hunter for some reason, the movie.
Yeah, I feel like it didn't do justice to the... Like, it did... Like, the monsters were in it, they looked great, there were action sequences, it was cool. There were, like, callbacks to, like, things, like making the armor out of the hides of the monsters and, like, stuff like that. But, like, the story itself was like, oh, we're military, and it's like, oh, this trans-dimensional stuff, which I don't remember from Monster Hunter World, at least. And, like, sometimes it's just... Things are better in the form that they're in. Like, Monster Hunter is better as a video game than it ever would be as a film series, so that's what's up.
Yeah, I feel that. I could maybe get behind a TV series, but even then, that's still a bit risky.
And I would just, I would avoid the whole military futuristic aspect of it. Like, I would just stick with the primal, stick with the setting. Like, don't change the set. Don't Super Mario Brothers it. That's what they did with Monster Hunter, the movie. They Super Mario Brothers it a little bit. Not as much as Super Mario Brothers did.
Yeah, but don't do it at all.
But they still were like, we need this future element to this medieval, you know what I mean? They're like a...
Is that
like
even
a
the case
society
in the
that has, they're just, they live in, wood huts and shit.
Yeah.
And, they make spears out of, dragon horns,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Monster Hunter does have a futuristic thing.
There are guns.
Okay.
There's guns, but they're gunpowder guns, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like guns that you can make in a
Here's a bayonet.
This dragon breathes fire, so when you kill it, its lungs is filled with gunpowder. So you use the gunpowder to power your gun. That is a bamboo tube or something. You know what I mean? Like that kind of technology.
Gotcha.
The only reason I think a TV series would work better is because, with a movie, you only have so much time to, cram everything in. Whereas, with a TV show, you have a lot more time to get through everything. So they could probably... Yeah, I'd avoid the whole military futuristic stuff because it doesn't fit Monster Hunter.
It's like setting Mario in the real world. It was like, what the fuck?
Oh, because the whole concept of Monster Hunter,
the Mushroom Kingdom was this whole cyberpunk thing. It could have been, and that the challenge with that one was they didn't have the technology to make Mario Brothers true to Mario Brothers at the time. I don't think, not in the live action form. They didn't have, the the design of Mario Brothers World is kind of simplistic, and on the screen it's not going to look good.
Oh, yeah.
Unless it's a cartoon. So they lost before they even began with that.
Yeah, it kind of got announced. I saw it.
And the Goombas. And the hell was that?
Oh, yeah.
12-foot tall lizard Goombas.
Yeah. Like,
oh, God, yeah. The stuff for nightmares.
it's like the Ninja Turtles when they didn't do Rocksteady and Bebop in the movie. Like, you know, the technology... Like, I don't know if the technology was there or not. They made Toka and Razor, which, like, a lot of people mistake for Rocksteady and Bebop. But yeah, like it's just like, but they can do that now. Like the Ninja Turtles movies have Rocksteady and Bebop now. When I was a kid, if I would have told, you know, like 10-year-old Fade or like, you know, 7-year-old Fade that like, yeah, so I have a Ninja Turtles movie now that has Rocksteady and Bebop in it, he'd be like, oh wow, that's awesome. But like I'm like, no, it's shit though. But like he wouldn't think that. The kid me would fucking love that shit.
Yeah,
so.
of course.
I mean,
don't know anybody.
I saw them like.
Yeah.
Saw the trailer for one of them once because I just never when it was Michael Bay doing it, I just never watched him. And honestly, like there's like a scene where one of their faces kind of comes out like some smoke or something, and I was like, honestly, I thought this was like Alien.
Yeah, I didn't like the redesign too much. It was okay. It wasn't like offensive to me, but like it felt different.
Yeah, it kind of felt like Ninja Turtles if they were in like either Independence Day or Alien, and I was just like, I'm not about that.
Transformers, like specifically Transformers is exactly what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
But whatever, like if the kids like it, the kids like it.
Sure.
Whatever. I'm sure it's sold. Like they're not trying to sell it to me.
Right.
Yeah, I think it has its audience.
I feel like Capcom is only focused right now, I feel like, on Resident Evil and Monster Hunter, and unfortunately, those are like not my favorites from Capcom. I know they're not going to do it, but just something with Mega Man.
Yeah,
That was really the only. We need a new Mega Man Legends.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
We need that style and like redo it though. You know what I mean? Take notes from the last fucking 20 years of game development since the last Mega Man Legends. You know what I mean? You can make it look really pretty, but like gameplay wise, like you don't need that rigid. You know, you're not using the shoulder buttons to turn.
That was ridiculous.
You know, even Mega Man X7, like the 3D Mega Mans weren't good. So with Mega Man, what they need to do, and they need to innovate because James Cameron is involved in the industry now, guys. So with Mega Man, what we need to do is get the feel of those original games back. So that action. So Mega Man was always kind of like the original Mega Man, he flowed in a certain way. It was robotic, yet there was a flow to it. And they captured it perfectly for the Super Nintendo as well when they upgraded.
Yes.
And then they failed to capture that again and again and again when they tried to reboot it like 4 different times. Mega Man Legends, for the time when it came out, that was like good for the 3D. Like 3D was early. But now you have like all these things. I would say go with something like a Devil May Cry. No, well, no, that doesn't like for Zero you could do Devil May Cry, but like for Mega Man he's shooting shit, which is not innovative.
Right.
But Mega Man got all kinds of weapons. Like I mean, I don't know what to take from with that. I would have to sit down and like think about it for like hours and like look at lists of video games and just like think like good shooters that were just like fun. You know, like made that a fun thing, and how they did that. Like Doom, the new Doom, I think would be a good one to take from. They did some interesting things.
Yeah, I see. My problem with Doom and then Doom Eternal is I played both of them, and like Doom 2016 felt like the tester for Doom Eternal, and now Doom Eternal almost feels kind of similar. Like there's gonna be another Doom, and everything they tried in Doom Eternal they'll take and put it in that. But like they tried stuff like they tried to do like water levels in Doom Eternal, and it just was awful. And yeah, I just wish they hadn't bothered with certain things. But
best part of the game is when you get to the big gun. Spoilers for Doom Eternal. You walk in and they're like, you can't go there, and you just like grab Buddy by the face.
oh yeah.
And like move him aside and then like go and like blow up the fucking planet. It's so good.
Yeah, Doom Eternal. To be fair, overall Doom Eternal is really good.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, for Mega Man, Mega Man Legend, but like, I don't know, some kind of Zone of the Enders style lock-on system maybe, and like
Oh, that was a freaking great series. I wish they would continue that too. But
something like that. Like I think that would be the inspiration for me. That would be like that kind of flow where it's like the robotic yet smooth. Like you got this hydraulic feel to it almost. But yeah,
I would be fine if they made it similar to Mega Man Legends 1 and 2. Just fix up the control system a little bit and make it a little bit more smoother. You know, that's the only issue I probably had with Legends, because that was a great series. I feel like they could have continued. I love it. Mega Man is still one of my top 10 series ever, and I feel like they just put a straight halt to it. You know,
I think maybe for the best though, because there was some shitty Mega Man shit that came out.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Like that whole, like they tried the Mega Man Online thing, which was like Maple Story, and it just. I like the they did Mega Man versus Street Fighter, which was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that so much. It's very good.
I think the last Mega Man game I played was like Mega Man 9 or 10.
I actually played.
Yeah,
Mega
one
Man
of the 2D
today.
ones, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I never beat it because I was like, this is just too much. Like, because it was like one of my own like entries into the series, and it was like, yeah, that's definitely a lot more than I'm used to.
So does anybody have any more E3 stuff? Sorry, guys, I got to try to wrap up, or I got to peace out soon.
Yeah, no, I pretty
I think that pretty well covers anything I wanted to mention for E3.
Yeah.
E3 didn't have much.
Like Microsoft, I do not care.
They did a few other things, but nothing that was too interesting, I'd say, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say E3 this year was kind of a, like, there was a lot of things, but, like, kind of a letdown. There's a couple things I'm excited for, but, again, Digimon Survive wasn't there, and that's really, like, the big thing that I was looking forward to. And I know it seems like such a niche thing, but that's what I was excited about. That's my final thoughts. Anybody else?
Elden Ring, baby. That's about it for me.
I would have liked to see more. I know it's really doubtful, but more from Final Fantasy 16 or the next episode of Final Fantasy 7, like, remake part 2 or something along those lines, like that's the stuff I'm looking forward to, especially from, Square Enix. Yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah.
Or even more news about God of War besides the fact that it's coming out next year.
For that matter.
We haven't seen anything at all about it.
Final thoughts, Harv?
And I'm more excited for that Mario Party rehash thing that's coming out than I should.
That might be interesting too.
I'm gonna play that online constantly. Like that'll be a day one stream game for me.
So it's just gonna be a mashup from different Mario Party games, like different boards and mini games from all the different games, and it's in series.
The boards, from what I understand, are specifically for the N64 games. But the mini games are from like 1 to 10.
Oh, really? Oh, that might be interesting. I might have to keep my eye on that. Mario Party 3 was one of my favorite N64 games ever. I freaking loved it. Played it as a kid all the time.
Oh, the N64
all three
Mario parties were
freaking spectacular. Yeah.
I fell out of them.
Sorry to rush it along, guys, but I guess we could do our shoutouts and stuff. So I just wanted to plug the Serenial Records again. I don't know how you could actually find it. Maybe like if you look on Spotify for Dragon Tier, you might find me or Six Atoms. That's what I want to plug this week.
All right. Matt, as a cop, do you have anything to plug?
Instagram is Matt as a cop. Just everything's just got a dash between it, and that's it. It's mainly where I post all my artwork.
Cool. And of course, we can find Megaharv at youtube.com/Megaharv, and Enigma is youtube.com/Enigmatic Entertainment, and also Twitch.
Hell yes.
On Twitch, it's Ent though, right? Like it's Enigmatic_ENT, or is it entertainment?
No, on Twitch, it's the same thing. There's just no space. It's just straight ahead.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
Also, I guess check out the Serenial feed on Twitter. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure do that. Kaboom and stuff, tell me about the Suikoden games on my Discord. Because I don't know what you're talking about. If it's not Edgewood Chronicles or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Was there a new Suikoden? I think somebody mentioned that.
A new one?
Well,
you mentioned that series 4. I haven't played it yet.
Well, there's like Edgewood Chronicles. I can never, like, Suikoden. Edgewood Chronicles, it's like the team that made Suikoden, but they're doing it themselves. I don't know if that's what Kaboom's talking about. Or if there's, like, another, like, series.
Gotcha. All right, so I guess we'll wrap up here. Sorry, guys, I gotta like do some stuff. So
no worries there.
Do you want to do the closing, or you want me to? I can.
It's either way.
okay.
We're
You should do it. You got the timing. Go ahead.
yeah.
You can close this okay.
Well, thanks for joining everyone for another episode of the Serenial Podcast. Do join in next Friday. We're here every Friday around this time. If you want
Friday night.
to talk about some game stuff, come on over.